There's too many pages on this feedback. I don't even care.
There always is. Okay, let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the SimNation podcast. My name is Jan, and today I'm joined here with Fallon.
Yeah, hi.
Oh, and that was my iPad beeping that we're live. Um, yes, again, no Pablo this week. Pablo has been a bit ill for the past few days. Actually, for the past week since he came back. So it's just us again. Just us.
He's a weakling Argentinian baby.
It was so funny. He came home from vacation and I was talking to him when he came home and he was like, "Oh, I'm feeling so ill. My voice is hurting so much." And I was like, "Yeah, well, it happens." And then last week we did the podcast and everything, and then this week Pablo was like, "Yeah, no, I'm out." So
How did he get worse?
I don't know. He talked too much, I guess.
Do you know how much I talk? I talk like more than anyone else on the planet.
True.
My voice is fine.
True.
We come on podcasts sick all the time, Jan.
I know. We're always sick on the podcast. That's the thing. But Pablo's like, "Oh no, oof, a little bit of a cough. Oof, no."
I feel like the real reason is he probably ran out of mate.
Yeah, that's the real reason. He ran out of mate. That's it. Must be it. Or he's pregnant.
He says it got worse on Thursday. Such a liar. He's typing in the Twitch chat.
Pablo, we don't believe you.
2 different pills. No, you need to drink some tea with honey, and take some vitamin C. You'll be okay.
A lot of tea with honey. That's all that helps. Today he got to drink mate again. But yes, we actually don't have much to talk about this week. The only thing that really was kind of news that was released is that Get to Work was released.
Yep.
We talked a lot about it last week on the podcast, so if you want a more detailed talk about it, you can go check that out. We had pins that over, and he talked about it a lot.
Yeah, which was cool, and I can't help it. I get so freaking jealous when people play games early, and I can't. Like
we can. I can testify to that. I can testify to that.
Like, why can't we be important? I just want to play it early. But yeah. I mean, like for me, it literally downloaded. It waited until midnight to start downloading for everyone in North America. Whatever their time zone was the equivalent. You could have tried to download it early.
If you VPN to Korea.
Yeah, but I wanted to see if it would work, but I feel like the internet connection would have been so slow by the time I had actually downloaded it. It probably would have been normal time anyways. And I was getting worried because I remember on our conversation that we have going online, George was all like, "Oh, there's so much like Twitter hype going up, and everyone's like on Twitter talking about this VPN stuff and everything." And I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I'll just do it the legit way this time. I'll be legit." And I waited, but yeah, I downloaded it super quick, and it's not half bad. It's still fun-ish.
Is it
kind of weird?
I'll put it this way: is it worth the money?
$40 is a lot. I'll say that.
$40 is a lot. I do agree. It's I haven't played it. I've kind of looked around, watched some other people play it. I've watched you play it, and without playing it myself and figuring out everything that's in the game, I do still think that $40 is a lot. It could have gone for like $20-25, and it would have been a lot more of a fairer price.
Yeah, I mean, and I actually don't know. I know Origin is having an Easter sale right now, but I don't think it's going to include this expansion because it literally just came out. So, I mean, you can buy the base game for on sale, but I'm pretty sure Get to Work is still
still
$40.
It's still
new.
new.
But yeah, I mean, I would definitely get it if it goes on sale. If you don't have the money, I would wait. It's fun, but it's a little quirky. And like I was talking to you like a couple minutes ago, I was so hyped to make a bakery. And I was imagining that my Sims would come to the bakery because they were hungry and were going to buy whatever it was that I made. And oh, Pablo's talking to you on the chat. He's sick, so he's not here visually with us. But so I was really hoping that they'd come, they'd buy some bagels or some donuts or whatever, and then they'd sit down and eat them. And they really don't. Like, only one time ever did somebody buy something and then eat it. And I don't know if the actual food is coded differently in the game, but and I also realized that I'm still testing it to make 100% sure, but I realized that only that they were actually only eating the stuff cooked with the baking skill, which is the new skill. I made like all kinds of stuff because you can sell whatever you want. I made cakes and pies and regular stuff that you can cook, before, but I actually only saw the Sims sit down and eat like a bagel, which is a part of the baking skill. So I was like, okay, well, that's kind of sucky because I made like a nice little, sit down area with tables and chairs. And I spent all that money making it look nice and have places for them to sit and eat, but they really didn't. And then I was like, oh, great. So the food's just basically like another like book that a Sim would buy and have no use for. So that kind of was like
Well,
weird.
I mean, I guess they buy it and take it home in their
Well,
inventory, which, since they're not procedurally generated while they're not at the same place you are, doesn't make any sense. But at the same
yeah,
time,
and
yeah,
they're
it would be nice if you had that kind of, restaurant feel where they come, they sit down, they eat, they have a good time, they go.
yeah, and I even made like I even put I wanted to see what they would do. Um, I had a coffee machine and I made coffee to see if somebody would be weird and like take the coffee. But I guess it really depends on, I'm really thinking that like the longer those NPCs stay at your store and their needs decay, the more likely it is that they'll actually, if it's a food item, they'll actually
Someone is actually saying right now in the
yeah.
chat that if you separate the food on tables, they will eat it.
Yeah, I'm wondering, well, because like it was weird. So I made food that you can make in quantities. Like the baking stuff, you could not designate how much of it you want to make.
You
So
can
like the
make
bagels.
one muffin.
Yeah, so you're basically saying I want to make plain bagels and it'll make the bagels. And I did notice it probably makes a good plate size because I had like two customers buy a bagel and they both sat down and actually ate them. I'm wondering if that's because they were there so long they started to get hungry, or if there was something in there like they have a so and so chance of eating it. But when I made the food that you can make in a quantity, like I don't even know, I think I made omelets or something, and I made like a party size. You just stick it in. I stuck it in the display to sell, and I think he just bought the entire eight eight plates of food. So I guess I have to separate the actual individual plates before sticking them into the display. It's weird. I mean, it's still cool that I saw them eat it once in a while. And I had a vending machine in there, and I put a microwave down there too because some of the stuff you need to be able to microwave. And I saw a customer use my microwave, so I think she bought something from the vending machine.
Maybe she
I
bought
don't
like
e-
Pop Tarts and had to microwave them.
Yeah, it was like you can buy a drink, a sandwich, like a pastry or something, and the pastries you have to microwave. But
But yeah, but it that's the thing. It would be nice that if you prepare, party meals or dinner type meals, that you in larger quantities that only buy one set of it and then either sit down to eat it or go away with it. Not that it just disappears. Um,
yeah, it goes into their imaginary pockets because the guru said like the NPCs don't actually take that stuff with them because it would bog down like it would somehow bog down the game with all this stuff that they have floating around in their inventory. So if you have a furniture store and some NPC comes and buys a chair, there's not actually a chair in their inventory.
which is weird.
They fake buy it just
They
for
fake
your
buy it.
for your purposes, for you to get the money. Now, if you take your Sim somewhere and you buy some clothes or something, I'm pretty sure you're gonna. But NPC
In
wise,
either
like
case, I mean, it's a weird idea, right? Because if I remember correctly, they are only on the plot. The only time they're actually generated is when they're on the plot, right? When they leave the plot, they go into this imaginary poof area.
well, I mean, like there, like you'll still see because it's a neighborhood, so you'll still see Sims walking around. But unless your store is open, they're not going to come there. They're not going to be like, "Oh, hey, let's just hang around the store." They like it's an immediate influx of like Sims coming from Poofland to walk into the neighborhood to come to your store. And then when you click close, then they're like, "Okay, let's GTFO," and they start like walking out.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually the bakery wasn't. I had to expand. I didn't feel like I was going to be making hardly any money off of bakery. Like I feel like I would have had. I have four displays. Three of them have stuff in them, but it does take. There's like prep time. You got to cook the food the first time around before you can have anything to restock. So, but yeah, it
But
was cool.
afterwards, after that I find weird, especially in this kind of bakery setting and stuff like that, where you make something once and then they just infinitely restock it out of thin air.
Yeah, it's you. We are. Yeah,
It
it's
makes
like
it
the
makes sense if you have like a furniture store or a flower shop or a clothing store, right? Because that's how clothing stores work, right? They buy from someone else and then sell it on to you. But with a bakery, it's weird that you make it the first time and then they just order it from someone else, and they're like, "Yours was
yeah.
shit."
It
Let's buy it from
somehow popped out of the fridge. Well, I mean, you don't have to do it that way. Hey Tim, we just started. You can keep making things fresh all the time, and even so with like any skill that you can make something with, like woodworking or painting, you can keep making things fresh, but it's a lot quicker just to pay the 100 simoleons to have them restock my
yeah.
$200, plate of cupcakes.
You're selling cupcakes for 200 simoleons.
I marked my stuff up at a reasonable price. I set it to 25% because that was the normal price. And if you set it up too high, then you're really going to have to work to make them want to buy stuff. And oh my God, the employees. Just don't even hire employees. Just have a family
Just
and run the store with your Sims
bring
because
over the family and be like, "You are my employees now. You are my slaves. Once you're done with your
pretty
shift, you're going back to the basement."
well, I mean, like the first employee, they have employee based stats.
Hmm.
So you see, like this employee Janet has this much work ethic, this much maintenance, which gives them the ability to restock faster, and this much sales. So I picked one that was fairly in the middle. I figured, okay, that'd be a good start. This biatch was so effing lazy. She didn't ring up anybody ever. Ever. One time I saw her upstairs. This is when I tried to live above my store. I saw her upstairs on the computer. I was like, and then I had to like berate her for slacking off. I was like, really? Why am I paying you? All you're doing is sitting down in the chair, blabbing away. Like I have told you there's like a menu for them. There's a
Hmm.
menu and one that you can assign them tasks. So one of the tasks is to ring up customers, another one is to answer customer questions, another one is to whatever it is. There's like four different ones. So I signed her to ring up customers. She did not ring up a single customer. And at the time, I only had my one sim who also was a cop. So I'm like, I don't have time for this. Like literally like 10 customers will come in your store at once. So you're like, "Oh my God, I closed that store down. I ruined that store. That store can never be an NPC store because I sold everything inside of it." And I bought the store across the street that was bigger. I'm like, F this. So now I hired the one that had the maximum work ethic that you could have. I figure He should be better. He rings up customers.
He
I'm
works.
happy.
He works. So, well, technically, logically, at the beginning, if you have a semi-small store, you would only need one NPC worker, right? Because you can kind of, restock and sell things while he rings up customers.
Yeah.
But once it gets bigger and you have a bigger store, and you need more, employees, then it kind of becomes a lot more important that you have employees that are very strong in one aspect,
Yeah.
like sales, and have a good work ethic. Then you kind of diversify, but just buy what you need for. At the beginning, it would be logical that you need more diverse employees, but I guess the game just doesn't work that way.
Well, I mean, they do get better. Like if they don't start off with max level work ethic, the. But I mean, honestly, like I wouldn't even want to hire one of those. You're basically paying them for their work ethic, and who cares if you have low sales? Because I don't care. That'll get better the more the NPC talks to customers. But I don't have patience to have to hire an employee in a game where I'm not like they have no purpose. I'm basically just working it myself. And sometimes you'll get two or three or four NPCs that want to ring up something at once,
Mhm.
depending on how much you have for sale. And it gets really frustrating when you can only ring up one person at a time because your shite employee is on the computer. And I'm like, why did she just go upstairs? And this is another thing. This is why I have decided not to live above the store. I have made my house on a separate lot. It's a real house, and my Sims go there when they need to do their normal stuff. Like I have bathrooms, they can pee, there's a vending machine. I still have the stove and everything for them to cook the baked items. And they can make a meal every once in a while, but there's no locked doors. So the customers will go into your living space if there's something up there that's interesting, like a fun object, like a computer or, something that they can play on. If you have everything downstairs in the store, then they're less likely to go up there. But why should I have to make a store full of fun objects so that you won't go into my house? That's like kind of weird.
Um,
Especially
yeah.
and it's time consuming, especially like when my Sims will eat upstairs and there'll be dishes downstairs and I'll have them clean up. They'll go all the way upstairs to clean up whatever dish was up there, all the way back down. I'm like, no, this is too much. Maybe it's too much.
How do we discussed this once before it came out? How does ringing up customers work? Because
So,
do they just stand in front of their object, being slightly inanimate, going doop 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 until you come and get their money, or do they do something?
um, why are you down here? Get away. Oh, heck yeah. No one sees you. It's my niece. Basically, if you'll get a notification in the top, it'll say, let's say the NPC's name was Jack, and they'd be like, "Oh, this looks nice. I'm interested in buying this." And then he will go over, if he's not already standing in front of it, he'll go over to whatever it is he's buying. He'll stand there, and the little shopping cart will appear above his head, and it'll be blue. And then it'll stay there. And if it starts flashing red, it means he's waiting too long, and you better ring his ass up before he leaves your store. And he just stands there. He stands there all like nice and polite, like la di da,
That isn't fun.
la da da.
I much prefer the way they did it in Open for Business, where you had a cash register. They would go grab the item they want and stand in front of the cash register. I mean, they would still get pissed if you took too long. They would throw stuff on the ground and leave, but at least then you kind of had a system that looks logical.
Yeah, I mean, because your employees will go over to that sim. You'll click on them and you'll ring the it'll come up ring up, and you'll go over there and you'll pull out your little sim tablet and you'll start ringing them up. But the bigger your store is, the harder it is to kind of like I have to like every couple of seconds I have to like pan back and forth to see if I've missed somebody's notification that I can see their shopping cart and then ring them up. Um, that way, because oh, see you, Pablo, meeting. You're going to be in a meeting and you're sick and you can't be on a podcast with us? I know you just didn't.
But yeah,
But yeah,
that's a weird way of doing it. I mean, I would have still preferred if they did it the way they did in Open for Business, when you had a cash register and they would come up to the cash register. That way you always... Because one of the things that was in Open for Business was you could assign a worker to work the cash register, so he would just stand there and wait for customers to come up. Granted, sometimes he was shit at it, and he literally went... And then I love the fact that when the cash register opened, it kind of hit him in the stomach. Favorite thing. But
yeah,
at least it was kind of, it made sense. You didn't have to do this horrible way of running around trying to see if there is someone to ring up. Because you already have the thing where you're trying to sell someone something,
yeah,
and then you also have this to pay attention to.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, you can kind of, depending on, there's a lot of different factors for selling. You honestly don't have to talk to the customer at all. I mean, if you set your prices cheap enough, they will practically just buy it themselves. If you set the prices really high, then yes, you're going to need to talk to them. But because a lot of times there's just too many customers, and I can maybe greet the first two or three and start talking to a couple of them. I'll queue up a couple of different, talk to her about price range, talk to him about answer questions, talk to him about, what's good. And only then, when you talk to that one customer enough, it changes from their conversation changes from window shopping to something else, and then you can get more interactions. If you're confident, you have this interaction that says close the sale. Doesn't always work. You can't close the sale when their intent bar is this little, but or they'll be offer suggestions. If you talk to them and consistently, you'll get more things you can do for selling. But I mean, you don't always have to, and sometimes there's too many people.
It was a similar way in Open for Business, wasn't it? They would often just go and buy something. It was a reasonable price. If it wasn't, you would kind of need to work them up to it. Be kind of no, you really, really want this. It's the Shitatron 3000. It's better than the Shitatron 2000. You must
See, the
have
only
it.
business I had in Sims 2 was a restaurant, so I didn't even care. They would just buy shit. It was because it was food. They'd just be buying food, so I didn't have to do anything. You'd be like, okay, let's make this type of food this price. The fine dining, and then hi, have a good life.
And I'll
I'm gonna
never
go in the
talk to you
back
again.
here. Yeah, but I mean, it's not too bad. I haven't actually, when I was not relying on my first shiny employee, I didn't lose any sales. As long as you have two people, you need to be there. Yes, you need to be in the store, because the store will not be open at all unless someone from your household visits that lot. It doesn't just run every so often from 9 to 5. You be there. You can run the store at 4 in the morning if you want, but your sim has to be there.
Yeah,
the employees
there
will
are
show
no
up.
managers.
Yeah.
They used to be in Open for Business, where you could hire a manager and the store would just run without you. You could
Yeah.
show up maybe once a week just to kind of be like, hey, give me my money. And that,
Yeah, you can't do that. You have at least somebody. It could be, if you have a family of 5, it could be the teenager, it could be the young adult, it could be the elder, it could be anybody. Well, not a child. Anybody. It could be a child, maybe. I don't have any children.
I think
Anybody
it
from
could
the
be a
household
child.
can go and run the store, but you have to be there the entire time that it's open. You can't just leave and then it'll no. I would recommend The Sims 4, but I like The Sims. I like the whole playing with Barbies kind of, people-ish thing.
I'll put it this way. This is just my personal one. If you want The Sims 4, it would be worth it, but only when it's on sale.
It's on sale.
Yeah, only when it's on
It's
sale.
on sale during Easter right now, so buy it. But yeah, it's still a little high priced for And still, this is the first expansion. We've had one game pack. So they're getting there. They're adding more stuff, and I've been playing The Sims since Sims 1, so
I don't know. Mm, it it's a slightly different way they're doing their expansions and additional content, which is good. There's a lot of it that comes out for free. I mean, a lot of it. There's some of it that comes out for free, which I am happy about because that was my beef with EA that they, charged you for everything, probably
everything.
even
The
bug
Oh
fixes.
God, those stuff packs. I never even bought that shit.
But on the other hand, I still feel that this was a bit overpriced. Like if it was like I said earlier, 15 to $20, then I would be like, yeah, go buy it. This is definitely worth $20. But $40 is a bit much for this. If it was kind of bundled together with the game pack, they did the outdoor game pack, then
Yeah.
yes, I would have been like, sure, pay the $40 for it. This is worth $40, but I would wait
Yeah,
for a
and
sale. Just wait for a sale.
they're like under, I don't know. It's like EA's under the impression that because it's an expansion, we must charge $40 for it. Like the game itself, depending on which version you bought, could have been 60 or 70 or even $80. And if you only paid $60 for the base game, I don't want to have to pay a whole whopping 40. Like just cut it down to 30 or something. And I mean, it's nice. I will say it's nice, and I'm very happy that they at least combined two things into one instead of, because it was always just one thing per expansion. And you maybe got, it was all focused around that one thing. It was all pets related, or it was all, what was Sims 3 nightlife. You got that one new city to live in, but it was all related to nightlife. You got the supernaturals in there, and you got the clubs. There was like nothing else. So if you wanted vampires, you had to buy that one, and that was the only thing you were getting in there. So I'm happy, and hopefully they will continue to combine multiple things into one expansion. And so this one, aside from the business side, you have the active careers. And I will say, because I have one sim so far, and I'm trying to kind of progress the ranks before I can say if it's worth it or not. But so I have a cop sim, and the workday actually feels really short with the amount of things that they want you to accomplish before you leave. And it's a little bit different now. So your Sims have a regular job that they just, disappear to. You have a little bit of leeway when your Sim actually leaves to go to work. You can kind of delay them a little bit. They might be late or whatever, but you can cancel them out from leaving right away. When they have one of these active careers, it's bam, it's 8 o'clock. Do you want to go to work with your sim, or do you want them to go by themselves? There is no, let me delay them a little bit. If you don't have them queued up, and then it instantly loads them to their job if you're going to work with them. And when the workday ends at 7, it cuts off. It instantly loads you back to your house. So there's no oh, I can just hang around for a little bit and see what's what. Which is I mean, I don't like that. I'd rather be able to hang around for a couple of minutes, either before or after work, just to see what I can do. Because the workday, like my cop, I don't even remember. She works 8 to 5, and by the time I get there, I have let's say 6 different things I have to do. It's set up like a party where you have on the side how long you have left, and then the things you want to accomplish to get your gold to your party or whatever. So it'll be go to the computer and get a case. So I'll get a case, and then it'll say, "Hi there." It'll say, then go to the crime map and start, setting up your photos and your info on the crime map. Then go to the area that you need to investigate. Yes, get to work. New expansion came out last week. So then it'll have boom, 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 and it'll keep reloading things depending on how much you have to do. So I went to a house to investigate some kind of crime or whatever, and it'll be like, okay, well, you can look for clues or take photos of the evidence. So there's little clues, which oddly enough looks like graffiti scribbled on the ground. That was another thing too. Like the first day I went to work, I had no idea how I was supposed to investigate anything. Um, I just saw like you'll go to the place and you'll see other cop NPCs standing around the area that have to be in. You might not realize right away that, oh, this is the only room I need to be in because there's cops here. But I was like, okay, there's cops here, so they're taking pictures. But what am I supposed to be taking pictures of? So I was confused. I'm like, okay. So then I started clicking on stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm clicking on the computer. Okay, it says take photo of evidence. I'm like, that's weird. I'm taking a photo of a computer as evidence. But okay. There's nothing else I can click on. Like the bookshelves, the chairs, whatever. So I'm just literally taking crime photos of the computers because those are the only things I can click on. And then you can click on the ground and it'll be like scan for evidence. But you don't really like you really have to be.
It's not intuitive.
Yeah, it's not intuitive. You have to go in there thinking I'm just going to click on a bunch of shit and see what happens.
Yeah, it isn't. It isn't like you come there for the first time and it tells you, oh, you might want to do this and this and this and this here. It just kind of throws you into the deep end and expects you to know everything.
Look for clues, and you're like, oh my god, how do I look for clues?
I find it funny because when the game came out originally, like you could not skip the bloody tutorial on anything. It was just hard coded in. You couldn't do shit about it, and they got a lot of shit for that because the tutorial was very annoying.
Yeah,
but
well, even like
I think they could have gone and put it in like some sort of a tutorial, maybe not hard coded in, but like, boop, hey, look, you might want to scan the ground for evidence.
Yeah, and I was kind of like thinking like, okay, maybe if I mouse over something, it'll say like blah 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 blah, and then well, I mean, there are lessons. There are still lessons in the game like there was in Sims 3 where if you go out to the options menu, you can click through the lessons, but who has time for that? That means I'm not playing the game. I'm like stopping to play the game to then go like read like 5 or 6 little snippets like this big of stuff, and it's not going to tell you. It's like an overall, pretty much. The game is on sale right now, so
I'm guessing it's around $30.
I want to say between 20 to 30 American.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have loads of time. I have no time. Wait, what do I have to? I forgot what I was saying. Anyhow. Oh, I don't have time to go stop playing the game and look at. I hate reading lessons. And half the time, the lesson that I want to read isn't even there. I'm like, really? No, but.
But yeah, we'd actually kind of have gone to about 30 minutes, which is what I was thinking about for us this week.
Oh, yeah. That's fine.
It's fine. We really didn't have any City Skylines news to cover because currently they're working on, first of all, the hotfixes to fix all the current bugs, and then they're going to start work on the first expansion, which is okay, which we're hoping is something good. But we have no news yet, and I'll be covering more of City Skylines tomorrow anyways on the regular City Skylines podcast with Pablo if he shows up. Otherwise, I'll do it by myself, or I'll try to get someone else.
He says he might be better tomorrow.
He says he might be better. He's been telling me he might be better the entire week.
That's why he's not getting any of the money from our profit.
I messaged him yesterday. I was like, hey, are you gonna be able to do the podcast tomorrow? And he was like, yeah, I'm feeling better, most likely, yes. No.
In my time, we tracked through 7 feet of snow to get to the podcast. We had nothing on but a bathing suit, and it was negative 40 outside. Like, come on.
I know. We had snow showers today, and I was still outside dressed like this. Like, woohoo! Snow! I was really excited about the snow.
It's actually warm here. Today was like, you don't know Fahrenheit, but it was like 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
It was about the same here as well. But it was just snowing for no reason. So I had a party in the snow.
Nice. I like snow. I like to eat snow.
Snow is fun. It didn't stick at all. But it was snowing. I woke up and I looked outside and it was snowing and I was like, what the hell? It's April.
We had one of those. It was like the day of spring and then we're like, snowing? Come on, really? Why? It's supposed to be warm now.
I know.
But yeah.
Anywho, that's it for us this week. If you want to check out more from us, make sure to follow us on Twitter. That is twitter.com/SimNationTV. Make sure to follow us here on Twitch because Fallon streams every Thursday. She usually streams The Sims 4. And starting today, actually, if you're watching this early in the day, I'm gonna start daily streams on City Skylines again because I just have more time now and I can do it. I might play some other games, but mostly City Skylines. So we'll be doing that. Make sure to follow us on YouTube where when Pablo gets better, he'll probably upload some more Let's Plays. And that's youtube.com/SimNationTV. And make sure to check us out on the website at SimNation.tv and join our Discuss forums where we can talk about everything. Make sure to check out the mod section for City Skylines if you like City Skylines and want a nice curated mod section because I work very hard on that one. But that's it from us this week. I have been Jan, and that has been Fallon.
I have been, I always will be.
Indeed. And have fun. Bye!
Oh, this is the most satisfying thing ever. We are God in SimCity 4. Wow, that was loud. Oh, you're gonna eat that, huh? You're gonna eat it. I see. What? Nothing. Okay.
And now she is tossing that salad with her... Stop sticking your finger in your ear! Alright, she's tossing the salad with her earwax.
It does. It does them really well. Okay.
Oh, they're coming for you, Pablo!
Shit!
Run!
Oh, yeah. These road trips, man, are killing me. Anyway, let me know whenever we are recording. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Extended Play. I'm your host, this is Stuart, and that is a fancy, fancy sign. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.